Good morning. Welcome to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. John Cornell, JC, Shane Matthews.
We work for the. We're gated up, baby.
Mr. Two-Bits.
You would think Mr. Two-Bits. It's Albert and Alberta.
This was not planned either, but it's just so damn cold here in Gainesville. This is like the only sweatshirt I have.
Amazing. A week ago, it was 81 degrees.
It was 27 this morning when I went outside.
Yes. Was your yard white?
Yeah,
was it frosty?
Yeah.
I think that's great. We needed something like that. We got to kill these bugs that are flying around and crawling around all over the house.
That's called pest control.
Well, it is, but I mean, my God, it's January.
Call your exterminator,
I want to get the mosquitoes killed off, at least for a few months, give us some relief. Yes.
When did cold weather start killing bugs?
Well, they don't like that. Mosquitoes die in the cold weather, and so do a lot of creepy crawlies. It's good to have some freezing temperatures. And it also means it's basketball season, finally. We're finally feeling like it's basketball season because basketball season should be in the cold, right? That's right. So, here we are with a big game tonight over in Baton Rouge, and we're going to have Billy Embody of the LSU 24/7 Sports Network joining us here. What time is he coming? About 8:30. All right, he's going to join us. Remember, they're on Central Time, so 7:30 for him. Thank you so much for coming on and contributing to our show this morning. We're going to hear from the LSU perspective. They are unbeaten in the conference.
Yes, they are. They've had a couple of games that they should have lost.
That's true, but shoulda, woulda.
I agree.
Green Bay should have. Not gone to San Francisco, but listen, I think it's going to be a fun game for the Gators to see if they can come off this very exciting win they had over Auburn the other night in front of 10,000 fans here in Gainesville. It's good when you see 10,000 fans in Gainesville. That means they've really tuned up. The basketball season now is in full gear and full swing, and the SEC conference season is with us. What is Florida, fourth right now? Something like that, third or fourth?
There's multiple teams sitting at 3-1.
Well, 3-1. Okay, so this is good, and Florida's one of them, and they are heading off. Mike White gets his 100th win. I saw on TV 20 last night. First time I probably watched that in a long time, and saw that his kids and wife went in there and gave him a birthday party in his office. And so
birthday party or a 100th win party?
100th win party. I thought it was it wasn't his birthday. You're right. It was a 100th win. But it was a party. And they were partying, baby. And right now, they hit the road. I was really happy to see the emergence of this kid, Omar Payne. We talked about him yesterday a little bit. But I think it gives him, Coach White, another body to use. And they need that. This is a long drag. It's a long slog, I should say, of a season. When you go through the conference and you're traveling all the time in the middle of the week, so forth. It's good that I think this game is on a Tuesday night instead of a Wednesday night when you're traveling. I don't know if that's a big factor, but I think it does matter. So I would say, before they come home and play the top dogs in the country, the number one Baylor Bears, we'll talk about them in a minute, it's good to have this game on a Tuesday night, get this game in, come back home and have 3 days to prepare for that. But first things first, and that's LSU, and I think Florida's got a great chance to win.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the game tonight on Super Tuesday. The game's at 7 o'clock. You can see it on the SEC Network. Again, we'll have Billy Embody join us on the Titan MRI hotline around 8:30 to talk LSU hoops. Just some news and notes around the world of sports if you missed it. Last night, we're going to talk real quick about, first of all, it's the Golden Bear. Jack Nicklaus turns 80 today, JC.
Wow, good.
80.
Good for him.
Do you think Jack could shoot 80?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he could. Maybe not at Meadowbrook, but yeah, he could shoot 80.
Well, he could. He'd probably play from the tees that you play from about 5,800 yards.
58.
Also, in the world of college football, former Gator quarterback Felipe Franks is going to be
it's a hog, baby. I saw that. Yes.
So he's going to be playing for Kendall Briles, who's the offensive coordinator. So I'm anxious to see what Felipe can do. I mean, good gracious, it can only go up for the Hogs.
I think it's great. I mean, it's great.
I'm very happy for him and wish him all the best. But it's Arkansas, who, when's the last time they won a conference game? Was it 2 years?
A million.
And they got to play in the West.
Well, look, they're going to win. They're going to win a game next year. They are. They're going to win a game. It's a bold prediction, I know, but to go 2 years without an SEC win is just borders on just ridiculous. It really does. And I think Felipe gives them some experience and maybe a little bit of the leadership that they've been missing so long at Arkansas. It's just a miserable situation.
Yeah,
but why do you think he picked them? Because he wants to play right away, or
well,
because of the coach?
A lot of people thought he was going to go to Kansas because he was initially committed to LSU and Les Miles before he switched over and came to Florida. But maybe he just wanted to stay in the SEC. Maybe he's seen what Kendall Briles has done when he was at Baylor and at Houston and at FAU.
Right. Kendall Briles, I think that's got to be the answer right
So we'll see. De'Aaron King, the kid that transferred from the University of Houston, has committed to the Miami Hurricanes, which hopefully that will help their issues down there. I think they got more issues at the coaching aspect than they do from a player standpoint. Also, there's rumors that Bo Pelini may be heading back to LSU as the defensive coordinator.
Wow, interesting. Dave Aranda gone, Joe Brady gone. This is what happens when you win national championships, folks. Get used to it at LSU in terms of losing players. We'll ask Billy about that. I wanted to see what his thoughts are on that. But Bo Pelini was very successful at Youngstown. He didn't do well in Nebraska. That's obvious. But nobody has done well at Nebraska in over a decade, right? So I think that's good. It's a good hire.
Yeah, then also in the NBA, Chandler Parsons, former Gator, was in a car wreck accident and somebody potential career-ending injuries.
It's unbelievable. What a terrible thing. He's coming home from a game, and some idiot runs into him. If you're going to bring up the NBA, I'm curious if our massive audience and listenership and viewership is interested in NBA. I know they talk a lot about it on other radio shows throughout the country. ESPN basically leads with it every night, but that is a large market dominated demographic type of broadcast. We are kind of everywhere. You can catch us in Siberia. You can catch us in Valdosta. You can catch us in Lake Tahoe. You can catch us in Ocala. So NBA is something that I would be curious to see if our listeners or texters or viewers are interested in. But last night, if you did watch it, the Boston Celtics beat the Lakers. They beat them. They killed them bad. 139-107. The 32-point win was the largest that the Lakers against the Lakers, or the largest defeat for the Lakers since 1963. That's before I was born, QB. You weren't even a thought.
Nope.
And I think that that I don't know what that really means, if it's just nothing but a statistic, because it has no bearing whatsoever on what's going to happen in the regular season as these teams race for the playoffs, or the push to the playoffs. But that is a significant loss. And Kemba Walker, one of the Celtics players, is now 1-28 versus LeBron. So congratulations to him. Another name last night from the NBA of note, Damian Lillard, had 61 points as they beat his team. Portland beat Golden State by 5, 129-124. I've noticed that in this league, if anyone is following the NBA, the points are flowing. They are scoring a lot of points. And so I think that brings an entertainment value to it. But college basketball is our focus today.
Hang on. I got one more NBA stat
you got one?
for you.
Let's hear it. What you got?
Russell Westbrook became the second player in NBA history to have a triple-double against every team in the NBA.
Every team in the league? Wow.
Do you know who the other person is?
James Harden?
Nope. That's an easy.
Well, I'm not an NBA guy.
It doesn't matter, JC. Do you follow sports?
Yes.
Okay. Who are some of give me the two greatest NBA players of all time.
Wow.
Two of them.
Michael Jordan.
It wasn't him.
LeBron.
It was LeBron.
Yeah,
so only two guys have had a triple-double against every team in the NBA, and it's LeBron and Russell Westbrook.
How about that? Well, that's
pretty damn amazing.
Well, it is amazing. I'm thrilled about it. I think that that this is something we could kind of wrap our hands around if you want to, as we go through the cold, wintry months and the college basketball season kind of unravels. And we can talk NBA or not, but this season's so damn long. It's kind of like hockey. I would like to talk about hockey, of course. I know that
you think we have any hockey listeners?
Well, if we're worldwide, QB, then absolutely we do, because I know that there are people up in Vancouver and Winnipeg. And, if they're wanting to tune in to pot up with Matthews in the morning, they might want to see what Matthews thinks of his Buffalo Sabres.
I will let you know when it comes playoff time, because nobody really cares till then.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about the NBA, too.
Yeah, well, I agree. If you want to get involved, a text line, it's the Titan MRI text line, 352-353-7465. We're also now, not only are we on Facebook Live, YouTube, It's, what is it, JC? Spotify,
iTunes,
Apple Podcast. Yeah, Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast.
We're going to figure it out here shortly.
I'm just glad that we got the phone thing working because Billy's going to be on today. We'll probably have Brent Beard tomorrow.
Yes,
Is that right?
tomorrow.
Brent Beard has everything.
Beard
He'll tell you everything.
All the college information, college football. We're also scheduled to possibly have Dan Cross, former Florida basketball player, on the first Final Four team under Lon Kruger.
And I was there, baby. What a great team that was.
We'll figure out what Dan's doing these days, and he can also kind of recap the game tonight against LSU.
It never gets old talking about the 94 basketball team. It just never would get old. I mean, many people probably might not have been alive back then, or maybe they were and they just don't remember. But that 94 team, QB, do you recall much of that season?
Yes.
Okay. Who? Where? Okay.
Let
me do 94 trivia. Okay. Hold on.
Duke.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's Duke, Arkansas.
You even know the question I was going to ask.
Duke, Arkansas, Florida. I don't remember the 14.
You don't remember.
No.
How do you not remember?
All I know is
it was a Final Four.
All I know is Arkansas won the national title.
That's right.
Charlotte.
Name one of the players on that team.
Oh, that's when they had Corliss Williams.
There you go.
Scotty Thurman.
Right, and their coach was
Nolan Richardson.
That's right. And what is he famous for?
40 minutes of hell.
There you go.
Yeah, I know my hog basketball. Pig suey, baby.
Thank God. This is the second Arkansas mention we've had. Maybe we'll spring up some Little Rock callers this morning. It was Arizona. The Arizona Wildcats played, and
Miles Simon.
I can't remember. It was I don't know. I don't remember any of their players, but they.
But you were there.
Yes, Lute Olson was the coach. I do remember him because he was a white-haired man, very tall, dressed very nicely, and walked up and down the sideline shouting his instructions. But the Arizona Wildcats played the Arkansas Razorbacks in that first game at 6 o'clock. I remember we were in the Charlotte Coliseum. What a great environment that was, and I still say some of that is lost now because they play in these 60,000-seat football arenas or stadiums, stadiums when they play the Final Four, and we all know why they do it. But that was a true environment, man. And those Arkansas fans rolled in there, and I'm telling you that fan base, when they have something to cheer about, is as much fun as any fan base you'll ever see. As much fun as the LSU fan base is in football, and as much fun as the Kentucky fan base is in basketball. Because back in those good old days of the 90s, the Kentucky Wildcats and the Arkansas Razorbacks were pretty much the two top dogs in this conference. And when they played each other, bro, it really was entertainment. And it was fun to watch. And they matched up very equally in talent. And some of those SEC championship playoff or SEC championship tournaments were in Atlanta. And you could see two fan bases equally split in the Georgia Dome, baby. And that was some fun stuff. And I just think we've kind of lost a little bit of that. But I am glad that the SEC tournament this year being played in Nashville where it should be played because of the arena they have and the entertainment value you get at going to Nashville. I'd love to go. Would you like me to go and be the correspondent for Pot Up with Matthews in the morning?
So now you love some Nashville. It's the best city in the country by far.
Well, I mean, it's great to go to visit. Yeah,
yes.
I mean, you don't live in Nashville. You live in Gainesville.
I understand that, but if I had to pick one other city to live in, it would be Nashville.
It is a fun place, QB. When was the last time you've been?
It's been a couple of years, but I love going there. It's if you're a country music fan,
well,
I mean,
their football team has a lot of cap space. And the next question I was going to ask you was that, but I'm sure you've got a little rundown.
We're going to take a little rundown. We got a bunch of texts that just came in on the Titan MRI text line. Now. We're going to take our first time out on Pot Up with Matthews in the morning. We'll be right back.
Time out! Time out! Hey!
Why?
Time out! Time out! Time out! There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, small enough to serve you, large enough to care.
Bob in trouble, gets over. Oh, big hit.
Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility.
Our touchdown sponsors are Radware Promotional Materials, Gators Dockside, Doreen Weeby Realtor, Gator BTW, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Miapa Latin Cafe, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Okido America Martial Arts and After School, and Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the advertise button or call Freddie Wiebe at 352-284-3733.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown.
Welcome back, Pot Up with Matthews in the morning. We come to you live every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Text line. JC, you got some texts here. Again, at 8:30, we're going to have Billy and Body from LSU 24/7 Sports talking about the game tonight. Florida travels to LSU. LSU, the only unbeaten team in the conference. Tough place to play. Not sure how I feel about the game tonight, but I will give you a better feel once the show comes to a conclusion.
Okay.
Here we go. Daryl says, good morning, guys. Is Skylar Mays LSU's best player, and do we need to limit him or shut him down in order to win tonight? Daryl from Green Coast Springs. Daryl, thanks for the text on the Titan MRI text line. Skylar Mays is a very, very good player, but I don't know if he's their best player. Javonte Smart, the other backcourt player, they have a really good backcourt. They have a really good starting five, by the way. But I think Javonte Smart plays the point. Skylar Mays is more of the shooting guard. They're both outstanding players. This is a weird game because, Florida's a small underdog going there, JC. I think it's only like 2 points, which surprises me.
Yeah.
Because you would think LSU would be favored by much more.
You would. 2.5.
But it's
2.5.
it would not surprise me if Florida wins this game because Mississippi State should have won the game in Baton Rouge, but you never know. LSU, we have Baylor on deck Saturday night. Not that guys are looking ahead to that because this game means a lot more than the Baylor game does. Mm-hmm. But I think LSU, I want to say they play Texas, who is struggling under Shaka Smart this year. They play Texas. This is the Big 12 SEC challenge this weekend.
Right.
But to answer Daryl's question, Skylar Mays is a very, very good player, excellent shooter. But we do need to limit him on his three-point
let me give
shots.
you a little heads up. They didn't play Texas, but they did lose to VCU. They also the LSU Tigers.
They play Texas Saturday, is what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, as part of that weekend. Okay, didn't catch that. Their losses though are to teams that
they lost at home to East Tennessee State.
Yeah, they lost to East Tennessee State. They lost to Utah State, that Utah State team that Florida ran into. Remember them?
Yeah, we lost to them as well.
Yeah,
they're a good team.
They're the best team. They may win the SEC. The USC Trojans beat them by 2 in Los Angeles. But the Tigers have a 6-game winning streak right now, and their SEC wins include at Tennessee and at Texas A&M. Those are good wins. At Mississippi, that's a good win. They've all been very close games. This team has played some extremely close games. Listen to these point margins of victory. They've beaten Arkansas by 2. They've beat Mississippi State by 1 on a buzzer beater, QB. They've beaten Texas A&M by 4, and they beat Mississippi by 4.
And A&M went into overtime.
It's a pretty close game. Either way, it's pretty close. These are pretty close games. You look, Florida expects, I would expect this to be a close game as well. So we'll see how that all shapes out. They've played a lot of home games early there in the SEC season. So I think it's going to be very difficult to finish out if they're playing a lot of games on the road. We have a viewer from Jacksonville Beach. Jenny is on there watching us. Thank you for watching us, Jenny. Please feel free to give us a text or call on the MRI, Titan MRI text pot up line, 353-7465, area code 352. We've got Timmy from Mobile. Timmy from Mobile wants to know if LSU has taken over the reins of king of the SEC and the country in football from Alabama. That Gulf Coast area. It's all Alabama. It's all LSU, and that's pretty much it. You got some Mississippi State and Ole Miss people,
some Auburn people
sprinkle
down there.
around, a few, but really it's LSU and Alabama.
What
do you think, Timmy?
I'll tell Timmy right now. Yeah, LSU is the king.
I think the point of his question was, or the tone of his question was, just because they've won this year and they've won 15 straight games, have they now taken over the crown? Will they be able to validate or follow up?
Follow up. It's hard to say right now. We can discuss this as the season progresses next year. They lose 2 coordinators. They lose the best quarterback I've ever seen in college
So they've
football.
They've got to kind of do what Alabama's had to do in the last 10 damn years.
Absolutely.
All right.
Another text message here on the Titan MRI text line.
Look at all these text messages.
Yes, it's crazy.
Facebook Live.
Jesse from Atlanta.
Oh.
Is Gator basketball in the tournament with the win over Auburn? I would say right now, yes, we're going to make the tournament. There's no doubt.
You have to be
doubt.
Right.
Now, I did hear last night while I was flipping through the channels, JC.
Yes.
Your defending national champs lost at home to NC State. That's the Virginia Cavaliers.
Right.
They said they're not going to make the dance.
That's
North Carolina's not going to make the dance.
No, we know they're not going to make it.
So it's pretty shocking what's going on in college basketball these days.
What about the Indiana Hoosiers?
They stink.
Jenny from Jacksonville Beach says, what about my Hoosiers?
They're not very good.
Well, they're not?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Look up their record and tell me if they're any good.
I just asked you.
Okay, while you're looking that up, we have another text message on the Titan MRI text line. Susan from Thomasville, Georgia.
All right.
QB, who are you picking to win the Super Bowl? Well, we'll talk more about that as the weeks progress up to the Super Bowl, but right now I'm leaning Kansas City Chiefs. And the only reason why is because of 15, Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, he would be the only reason why.
Well, I love the 49ers, what they're doing, the way they've built their franchise. You know, they've kind of taken the mold since John Lynch is the general manager. When you look at their defense, JC, what do you see? You picture the Super Bowl team,
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You know, you play a lot of zone coverage, and you try to pressure with your front four.
Front four, yeah.
And that's what they're doing. But I just think with Pat Mahomes, his ability to move around, he loves to move around and
they're
make
fast,
plays.
Though, man. Those Niners can rush off the edge like I haven't seen much of in recent history. So here's a question.
So right now, Susan, thanks for the text. I'm picking the
Susan.
Chiefs on, what is today? Tuesday.
Yeah.
It could change.
I've got a Chiefs hat. I don't have a Niners hat, so I'm rooting for the Chiefs, but I just can't see them winning this game because that San Francisco team is so dialed up right now. A team that can run the ball like that, I think is going to have a lot of success against that Kansas City defense, but not to say that they're not really improved. They are. They've got the third most guaranteed money in the NFL playing defense in Kansas City, but San Francisco has the second most guaranteed money in the NFL playing defense. And the question I would ask you is, if you had a choice, kind of like the would you rather scenario here, would you rather have San Francisco's front four or Kansas City's receivers? Now, I know you're an offensive guy, but tell me about this game. San Francisco's front four or Kansas City's receivers? Because they're really tough too, man.
Okay,
they're
here's what
good.
I'm going to say. I'm going to say, who's my quarterback?
Yeah, so you're going to make it up to the quarterback.
Well, I'm going to say, with Pat Mahomes being my quarterback,
you would rather have the Kansas City receivers.
Well, the reason I say it is because I think with his mobility and movement in the pocket and how
he's their leading rusher too,
and
by
how
the
he
way.
gets outside the pocket and makes plays with his arm, I think he can alleviate that pressure that the front four can put on.
He also, I think, is their leading rusher in the playoffs. And maybe
I'm telling you, that touchdown run he had was maybe the most amazing play I've seen.
I don't know how many tackles he broke or he slipped away from, but I don't know what those Tennessee guys were doing. It was like waving at a car go by. But that San Francisco defense to me, and we'll get deeper into this as we get into the Super Bowl week next week. But right now I'm leaning on the Niners. He's leaning on the Chiefs. So that sounds like a good
Got another
split.
text here from Jack from Pelham, Alabama.
Pelham,
Pelham.
Alabama?
Says, hey, guys, I'm a diehard Auburn Tiger. Do y'all think Gus is in the hot seat? Is on the hot seat this year?
Let them lose 4 more games this year, and yes. I don't know if Auburn is going to lose 4 games, though. They're a very good team. Well, they're a good team. I would
they
say
were a
they're
good team
very
this past year, and they lost how many games?
Yeah, I think they lost 4. So I would say, if they're perennially losing 4 games, that's not what they want there. They want to be up there with the big shots. I think, playing in these Outback Bowls and these medial bowl games at the end of the year is kind of a downer for them. They lost this year to Minnesota, who just ran them over, and it was a bad way to end the year. Yeah, they beat Alabama, but Alabama was banged up without their quarterback. We all know
that. But I will say this:
they can cheer about that if they want to at Auburn, but nobody cares.
But here's the thing:
what?
Nobody remembers all they remember is Auburn beat Alabama. They don't care.
Well,
who
that's
was
what
hurt,
they remember. But they also know they lost 4 games and they did not compete for the
I understand
SEC.
that. My point is,
Okay.
if Gus had lost to Alabama,
Oh, that would have been worse. Oh, no.
he would be under severe pressure.
Oh,
this year.
no doubt
but he
about it.
beat Alabama.
He
I
did.
don't care if you had Mike Shula playing quarterback.
right.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
they beat you.
let them go. Let them go 6-5 this year. If they beat Alabama, it won't be enough because I think they've had. I've talked to a lot of Auburn people. They are tired of losing 4 games. They want to win. They want to win the conference. They want to go to the playoffs. They've watched their cross-state rival do it every year, other than this past year since the damn thing started. I think Auburn fans are just kind of tired of being Auburn. They want to be somebody bigger than that, and they want Auburn to be that team. I don't know, but I would say yes. Let him go 8-4 again this year, and his butt is going to be on the frying pan because they're paying him. You know how much money this contract's worth? $47 million for that. Hell, you can pay you.
I'll tell you.
$4.7 million over that.
We'll be better on offense.
There
I
you
can
go.
promise you. At least we'll be able to complete forward passes.
Well, that's important. In this world.
Again, here at 8:30, we're going to be joined by Billy and Body from LSU 24/7 Sports. Talk about the Gators and the Tigers tonight in the Pete Maravich Assembly
I've been
Center.
in there. I've been in that building. It's a big circle. It's a big circle. It gets loud. I'm going to ask Billy what that football celebration was like, and I know what he'll say, but I still going to ask him. They had 15,000 fans in that building right there. They don't get 15,000 fans in that building right there for basketball. It happens for a football
I
celebration.
bet they'll have 15,000
You think they'll have 15? I'm going under that number.
I'm
We're going to
going-
see.
so I bet it's a
Let's put
packed
it down.
house
Let's
tonight.
Well, it might be packed, but they're not going to have 15.
I
I'm
bet
going
it's
well
going to
under
be
that.
sold out tonight.
You think so?
Yeah. We'll see what Billy says.
Okay.
I think, dude, they're
They're undefeated in the SEC.
They're a very good basketball team. They made a run last year, and a lot of people think they can make a run this year.
They're okay. I watched that Mississippi State game. Reggie Perry
but
had
here's the
his
thing.
way with that team.
Here's the
I'm
thing,
sorry.
Jason. You can't look at one game.
One game, I know, but they lost to Eastern Tennessee. They've had some bad games.
But I tell you what, their
they are-
starting
they are
five is as
undefeated.
good as you're going to find in anywhere.
The LSU's?
Starting five is outstanding. They have a lottery pick and a
They do?
freshman,
What's his name?
Trendon Wolford.
Oh, that's a household name. I wonder how many folks who have been texting us have heard of Trendon Wolford.
Well, I'm just letting you know.
What's he going to score? Okay, over-under on Trendon is 19.5 points tonight.
He'll probably go under because all 5 of their starters are all going to be in double digits.
Oh, all of them?
That's how, there's not one guy that stands out for them.
Okay, well,
I'm just telling you.
you're buying them a lot harder than I am.
Because you haven't watched and you
I
haven't,
did
you never
watch him.
played
I just told you
basketball.
I saw him play Mississippi
haven't
State.
played
Well,
basketball
you didn't
since
play SEC basketball
No, but I played
either,
a
big boy.
high-quality high school basketball.
What, in Pascagoula?
Yeah, I lost in the state championship.
Oh, well, Mississippi State Championship. I'm sorry.
we
but
had
that-
5 guys go Division I.
Oh, yeah? Give me one.
Okay, we had Antonio Harvey, who's
He was
7-footer,
good.
played
Yeah,
at Georgia.
Heard of him. I've heard of him.
Okay, we had Elbert Rogers, who went to
Elbert Rogers.
He went to UAB. Okay, then we had a guard named Isaac Brown,
Oh.
6'3", went to Texas A&M.
Uh-huh.
The other guard, Dale Brown, went to Kentucky.
And where did you go?
I came here and played football.
That's right.
And we lost to Chris Jackson 4 times
That guy.
my senior year.
Yeah,
and we
I
only lost
remember
5
seeing him.
times.
I remember seeing him.
Okay, he was pretty good.
And
He was pretty good for the
Why don't you
LSU
tell the
Tigers.
audience who Chris Jackson is?
He's Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf now.
I know, but where did he come from?
Gulfport, Mississippi, and he played for
Okay,
the LSU
that's right.
Tigers.
So you got to say, well, I mean, he was good. We call him Chris Jackson. I'll never.
Yeah. So anyway, I know a little bit about. I'm telling you, this LSU team is as talented a team as anybody in the SEC or in the country, hands down, hands down.
The Gators have no chance. Huh?
No,
have
they
zero.
do. We're talented too. We're extremely talented.
Well, they are only a 2.5 point favorite underdog.
Yeah.
So.
My point is, just because you haven't heard of these guys, but we'll ask about Trendon Wolford.
Well, I'll let you do that because
will.
he's about ready to come on.
All right. Well, we're going to take our final time out of the day. We're going to come back with Billy and Body talking LSU Tiger hoops.
And football.
A little bit of football.
Time out! Hey! Time out! Time out! Time out! There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, small enough to serve you, large enough to care.
Bob in trouble, gets rid of it. Oh, big hit.
Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility.
Our touchdown sponsors are Radware Promotional Materials, Gators Dockside, Doreen Weeby Realtor, Gator BTW, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Miapa Latin Cafe, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Okido America Martial Arts and After School, and Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the advertise button or call Freddie Weeby at 352-284-3733.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown.
Welcome back. Pot Up with Matthews in the morning, live from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We're going to go straight to the Titan MRI phone line, and we're joined now by Billy and Body from LSU 24/7 Sports. Billy, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I got Shane Matthews here, John Cornell. I want to talk a little bit about the LSU Tigers, only team in the SEC right now that sits unbeaten, but they've had some very close calls. What can you tell us about this LSU team? I try to tell my partner here, they may have the best, most talented starting five in the SEC. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, they're pretty talented and they're very experienced. You look at Javonte Smart and Skylar Mays and what they were able to do for LSU as starters last year, and then they add in Trendon Watford into that starting lineup, the five-star power forward out of Alabama, and then Emmett Williams and Darius Days played a ton of minutes for them last year in their NCAA tournament run. And so you add all that experience together. They added Marlon Taylor back into the mix as a sixth man off the bench, and he's coming off his best game. I mean, this is a really talented team. It hasn't always been pretty this season. It was up and down a little bit in non-conference play, but they have turned it on in SEC play, and they've really taken care of business down the stretch in key moments, and that's why they're 5-0 in the SEC.
Billy, JC here. LSU is quite a place right now. The vibe, everything that's happened with the football team and the Heisman Trophy, of course. Give me a little bit of an idea of what life in Baton Rouge is like right now. And how long did it take folks to? And we'll get back to basketball, but how long did it take folks to get over the hangover from winning that national championship? I'm just curious about that because I went to Alabama and Florida, and we've had our share of those. But at LSU, it's been a while, and since 2007, and I'm just curious how things have gone since the great win over Clemson.
I don't know if the hangover's set in because they've kept the party going.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty fun to live in Baton Rouge. Everybody's pretty happy around town these days. When I got down here about 4.5 years ago to start covering LSU, wasn't always the case. It was kind of some tough times there at the end of the Les Miles era and the beginning of that Orgeron era. So this season was something that I think LSU fans really deserve for kind of sticking with the program through all that. And look, I mean, Joe Burrow's an absolute rock star. Ed Orgeron's a rock star, and then LSU basketball picking up where they left off last year, at least to start play in the SEC, and then before you know it, baseball will be here, and they'll have their huge expectations for that program as well.
We're speaking with Billy and Body on the Titan MRI phone line. He covers LSU for 24/7 Sports. Back to basketball. When you think of this team that Will Wade has brought in a lot of talented players, is there any hangover from last year with what happened with Will Wade with the FBI probe?
How did he keep his job?
Yeah.
That's the question. The question is, how is Will Wade coaching that team, Billy? Fill us in. Come on.
Yeah. I think for Will, it was a deal where I don't think anything that you kind of came out and could prove, the NCAA couldn't prove.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it was reports, a lot of it was hearsay, especially kind of the Naz Reid part of it. That was a basketball coach on a boat looking for a handout from a FBI private investigator who's posing as a front man. So it's kind of a weird situation, and but I don't think there's necessarily a hangover from it. I think there's more of a hangover from having to change over this roster like they had to. Tremont Waters out the door, Naz Reid, Cabell Bigby Williams, a lot of key players off of that team aren't around anymore, and it's taken Javonte Smart a little bit to get used to running that point guard position. He's more of a true scoring guard rather than a point guard. So it's just been an adjustment, but I can tell you the players are happy that Will's the coach, and they do look, for the most part, I'd say, more well prepared than they were without him.
What didn't he admit to something though? I mean, wasn't there something he said he did, and it was like, okay, you're dead, or did I miss something about that story? What?
No, I don't think he admitted to any of that, and
okay, so that was hearsay too.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't admit to anything, because he had the thing he did was, after it all was said and done and he was reinstated, I mean, he came out and had to, face the music, at least for the press conference. And a lot of it was, look, all of that stuff was behind closed doors with the NCAA and LSU and the SEC, and they were satisfied. And, now not to say that the spotlight and everybody isn't watching him very closely, but, that's how he at least put it out there, was that everybody was satisfied with the answers he did give it.
Billy, when you look at this LSU basketball team, obviously they're undefeated. In your mind, who is the most important team to keep them going? When I watch a lot of college basketball, I think the backcourt at LSU is what makes this team click. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's Will Wade's system, what it's built off of. And anytime, even last year with Tremont, if you saw him have an off game, it would be up and down for the team. And so this year with Skylar and Javonte and not necessarily having that true point guard, has been a little bit of an adventure at times, but they've improved throughout the year. Skylar's really steady. I mean, that's probably one of the most steady players in the SEC and has been for the last couple of years now. And then Javonte is really somebody that, adds that edge to this team, and a lot of the guys feed off of it. Emmett Williams is another one with some edge, who's a forward. But I mean, the LSU team can pretty much come and go as the backcourt goes, especially in terms of decision making. Will Wade likes them to throw it into the paint. They've got two guys down there, and Emmett Williams and Darius Days, that really do a good job on the boards and cleaning up second chance points and doing all of that. And when those guys are going and the guards are facilitating to them, it really helps.
Was there any concern with the way Reggie Perry played against them for Mississippi State? I watched the end of that game, and it took a buzzer beater to win. But Mississippi State played them, man up, and LSU answered and, of course, won the game, and that could be a sign of things to come. But what would you say the concerns for LSU basketball would be, and maybe perhaps going into tonight's game with Florida?
Yeah, as aggressive as they are on the glass, and they have the athleticism to win the rebounding battle, you're looking at a matchup where you're facing Kerry Blackshear and Omar Payne and guys like that. That's not easy for a group that probably doesn't have somebody that'll measure in at an NBA combine over 6'8", in my opinion. I think Trendon is probably the one that might, but Darius and Emmett are probably more 6'7" guys. So they've got to rely on their athleticism. They really have to play positionally very well, because Darius Days has gotten into a little bit of foul trouble as of late. But if they can, not get into foul trouble and play positionally sound basketball, that'll help them a lot, playing with those trees down low from Florida.
What kind of crowd y'all expecting tonight? I know when Kentucky rolls into town, it's a packed house there. Will it be packed tonight?
I think it'll be packed. I think everybody's, like I said, keeping the party going, and LSU's 5-0 in SEC play, and so I think even though it'll be a late arriving crowd, I think that 6 o'clock tip will kind of it won't be as full right away, but the students are back, and I think you'll have a pretty solid crowd out there tonight.
The Deaf Dome, baby, the Deaf Dome, the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. So Shannon and I have an over/under bet on the attendance, believe it or not. And I don't know, did you have 50,000 fans for the football celebration in that place?
Yeah, it was packed.
Where'd they put them all?
They closed the doors, wouldn't let anybody else in. It was standing room only. Standing room only.
Well, it should be an exciting environment tonight. We'll be tuning in. You mentioned the start time, so 6 o'clock local, 7 o'clock Eastern, Florida and LSU. And then you get Texas coming in on Saturday. So a lot to look forward to in Baton Rouge. QB.
Billy, before we let you go, we got to touch on LSU football. Obviously a magical season.
Well, I did that.
Well, I want to get more in depth here. How difficult is it going to be? We all know it's going to be difficult, but you lose both your I don't want to say offense coordinator because Ensminger's the quote coordinator, but Joe Brady's leaving.
Yeah.
Aranda's gone. You lost, in my opinion, the greatest season a quarterback's ever had in college football. You lose a ton of skill guys. Can LSU bounce back, and is Miles Brennan going to be the quarterback next year?
It does look like Miles Brennan's going to be the quarterback at this point. I don't necessarily know if they're going to bounce back and win the SEC, but look, I think with Alabama breaking in a new quarterback, Auburn has that defense, but Bo Nix really hadn't taken that next step yet to being that guy that could, yes, he beat Bama, but he just throughout the regular season wasn't overly impressive in SEC play. So the SEC West is kind of wide open. So they've got a shot to do it. And when I looked at the depth charts kind of after the season, there's a lot more coming back on defense than I originally thought. So I think they're going to be pretty salty on defense. They'll have a chance to be really good there. Offensively, you're going to have Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall back, as well as two really talented young players, Trey Palmer and Kayshon Boutte in the slot. Got the best tight end ever rated on 24/7 Sports set to take over for Thad Moss, who departed early at tight end. A good bit of the offensive line returns. They've got a shot to be pretty good. I could see them being more of a 10-win team, and depending on kind of how things go, who knows, maybe they do emerge again from the SEC West.
Well, maybe we'll see you in Gainesville. And, hey, man, thanks for joining us so early in the morning there, Billy.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
There we go. That's our LSU guy, Billy Embodied, LSU 24/7 Sports. That's good stuff as we get ready for tonight's game, and of course they'll be here next season.
Yep. You can check him out at Billy Embodied to check out all your LSU needs.
Yeah, well, and I think there will be quite a few LSU needs now with the emergence of their football team and certainly the year they had. But they will be coming to Gainesville next season to play at the Swamp, and I'm certain that will be a primetime game, or at least the highlighted game. I guess CBS is done now, so we're not going to be doing CBS games at 3:30 anymore.
Are they done next year?
I don't know.
I don't know when that contract.
But I know
runs out.
it's ending. Either way, it's ending one way or the other. They're not renewing, so it could be next year. It could be the year after. We'll have to check our media correspondent on that. Got a text message from Dale. Dale is in Smyrna, Georgia. Dale wants to know why the Georgia Bulldogs are being forgotten in the SEC with all this LSU Alabama talk.
Well, I don't think they're being forgotten. I think they're losing so many players, and Florida's kind of taking that next step.
Yeah.
That I think when the SEC media days come, when the writers vote for
That's in July.
I think Florida is going to be the
top
prohibitive favorite to win the
prohibitive favorite.
I really
Okay.
believe that.
Well,
I think
who's
mainly
going to play quarterback up there?
Well, that's going to be the issue with
Yeah.
Fromm leaving.
Sure.
Swift left. They had a bunch of linemen leave. Sam Pittman, the offensive line coach, who's a tremendous recruiter.
It's gone.
He's gone at Arkansas now.
Right.
And Florida returns. Basically, while you were gone, JC, we had
Yeah.
someone text wanting to know who I thought was probably going to be the All-SEC preseason quarterback. It's going to be Kyle Trask.
Right.
Can you
Why
think of
wouldn't it be?
anybody else?
No.
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head. Absolutely not. Why wouldn't it be
So,
Kyle Trask?
Florida-
He won the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, and
So-
well, it doesn't do anything but
But
Orange
I mean,
Bowl.
I'm saying
there's nobody else in the SEC that has
11
played as
wins.
many games as he has.
Right.
At the quarterback position.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I think, you've got a new quarterback in South Carolina. We don't know who's going to be there. Tennessee, don't know who's going to play there. Kentucky, we don't know who's going to play there. Georgia, you just said. Florida's got the returning guy. Vanderbilt's not a factor, doesn't matter. In the SEC West, I mean, it's a guessing game other than Bo Nix, and I don't know if Mac Jones is going to start for Alabama. I don't know that at all. So there are a lot of question marks. We don't know who's going to start at Mississippi State. We don't know who's going to start at Ole Miss, even though they have a couple of guys. It's probably just between two, Plumlee and the other one. But with Lane Kiffin there. But who knows? Lane Kiffin may find a Shane Matthews lingering around on the roster and use that guy that nobody's heard of until it's time to watch. So a lot of questions, certainly at the quarterback position. Dale, thank you for the text message on the Titan MRI text line, 352-353-7465.
So, what do you? How do you feel about the game tonight?
Oh, well, I think
Does
it'll be
Alabama
close.
play tonight?
Alabama? Oh, no, they're playing
What are the other
Wednesday.
SEC games tonight?
Okay, that's a great question.
I thought you had that information
Well,
for us.
I do. I absolutely do, QB, because I'm such an SEC basketball fan, as you know. And LSU is a 2.5-point favorite, but we've got Georgia traveling to Kentucky. Georgia coming off a 32-point loss.
You know they have the number one NBA player.
Tom Crean, the Indiana guy, is trying to get it.
But you know they have the number one guy on the draft boards. Georgia does.
Okay, well,
he's the freshman. He's
they,
a stud.
They couldn't care less in Starkville. They lost by 32 there.
But I'm telling you,
I believe you.
Did you know that they have the number one player that's going to be picked in the NBA draft?
No.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
No, I don't know that.
Yeah, he's a one and doneer.
Okay, well, they probably would wish he'd stay because they are going to play at Kentucky tonight. Lots of luck there. Tennessee is hosting Mississippi. I don't know what's going on with Mississippi. A couple players missing on that team. I'm not sure.
No, they had everybody back for the LSU game.
They did have everybody back for that loss.
They haven't won a game in conference, but they're a good basketball
They're
team.
scrappy, right? And then Missouri is at home. We all know about them when they're at home, right? They play Texas A&M tonight. They're a 9-point favorite. Obviously, a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of team. When they travel, they get blown out. But when they play at home for some reason in front of 12 people, they do just fine. At least they did against Florida, but they are playing tonight. And then tomorrow night in the league, it's Auburn coming off two really bad games on the road last week. Back home to play South Carolina tomorrow night at 7. Arkansas will travel to Starkville for Mississippi State's third straight home game. That's at 7. And Alabama will go to Vanderbilt. I think they're really getting into this Nate Oates up at Alabama.
Somebody
QB.
told you that he was a pretty good coach and had a fun style of play.
So, was that one of our great texters?
No, that was somebody sitting next to you.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you're ready to put them in the tournament. I'm not ready.
I didn't say they were going to be in the
10
tournament,
and 7.
but I told you his style of play.
No, they're exciting.
Is fun to watch.
Fun. They're more fun to watch, and people can get into that when they score 90 and 88 points. And I agree with that.
But are you going to be one of those fans when they lose 2 in a row because they don't really play defense?
Yeah,
are you going to be one of those guys?
Well, I'm going to be one of those guys that says, okay, well, he's going to have to get some recruits in there, and it's going to take him a few years. I'll say that. I won't give up on him.
Pretty good.
Okay, but they are 10 and 7. Okay, and I think they are more exciting, but I don't know if they're going anywhere. Does that make any sense? I mean, you can be more exciting.
What's their record in conference right now? I'll make a prediction today.
They are.
Well, no. How about looking up?
Well,
look it up.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, it does. Just hit.
Oh, it says 7th in the SEC QB.
I'll look it up.
You look it up. I'm not ready to bring Alabama into the postseason blazing, with guns blazing just yet. But they have won 10 games. They did take care of Missouri pretty handily at home. They score a lot of points. They blew out Auburn. They came to Gainesville and at one point had a 20-some-odd point lead against Florida before running out of gas with the Gators' big comeback win. So they are capable. I think that's the word to use. What are they in the SEC?
They are.
You looking at them?
3-2 in the conference.
Okay, 3-2's not bad.
They sit right now at 10 and 7.
They beat Mississippi State by 21. Jeez.
How many games we play? 18 in the conference. 18 conference games, JC?
Makes sense.
So they got 13 more. I'm going to say Alabama ends the season in conference play at.
They play 19 games.
They're going to go.
They play 19 games.
13 and 6.
No, they play 18 games. You're right.
Okay.
They're 13 and 6.
They're going to go
13 and 5.
13 and 5.
13 and 5.
Actually, no. I'm going to make that 12 and 6. 12 and 6.
12 and 6. Okay. All right. Well, they will play Mississippi State twice. They will play Auburn twice. Those will be road games. They'll probably lose those. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. They got that Kansas State team who's coming on. Didn't they have a big win, Kansas State, over the weekend?
Where's that game?
That game's in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, they will destroy.
They'll beat up on Kansas State.
They will destroy them.
Yeah, Kansas State's not that good, are they? But they did put one on West Virginia over the weekend. So, yeah, college basketball. It is up and down. Who knows? But this Baylor team, I want to just, as we have about 6 minutes to go, just a little heads up. Watch out for Baylor. They're coming in as number 1. But I guess we should wait until tomorrow. Who are we going to have tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're going to have Brent Beard on the show, and I'm hoping to have Dan Cross, former Florida basketball player from the 94 Final Four team, tell us what he's doing these days and kind of recap the LSU game last night.
Yeah, that 94 team will have a lot to say about. I will, at least, because I was the only credentialed media member in the state of Florida. You've heard this story before, but our millions of
listeners. Why were you the only?
Because I was the only one that put in for press passes in the first and second round games that were played in Uniondale, New York. at the Nassau Coliseum, home of the New York Islanders, or one-time home of the New York Islanders. I was the only guy that put in for credentials. And the NCAA back then, I don't know if this is still the case, but they had a rule that said if you're going to put in for credentials, you have to do it before the tournament. So consequently, when they won the first and second round games in Uniondale, up there in Nassau Coliseum, the Sweet 16 was being played in Miami. And so everybody tried to figure out how to get in there, and they eventually did, of course. But when we were up there in Uniondale, I was the only Florida guy, only Florida electronic media guy.
Were you toting around the camera?
Well, no, I had a cameraman, but I toted the tripod for him. It's very heavy, very cold too. And I did a live shot in 6-degree weather with a V-neck sweater on because I didn't know what I was doing weather-wise going up there, QB. But we did the live shot outside the Nassau Coliseum. My hair was white with snow, and then I went to go watch the Rangers lose to the Blackhawks that night. But anyway, long story short was they used, including ESPN's Reese Davis, used my video in the Charlotte Coliseum during the Final Four for the practice round, and they used my video, the practice sessions.
Like a shoot-around?
Yes, the shoot-around, right. I was the only video that the entire state of Florida had for the Final Four. Sam Kuvaris, Greg Warmoth, all these TV guys from Orlando and Jacksonville and West Palm Beach and Miami and Tampa and St. Petersburg and Fort Myers and Pensacola and Tallahassee. Everybody used the TV20 video shot by none other than Paul Boron and John Cornell at the Final Four in the Charlotte Coliseum. So if you had watched television, the local news, and watched the sports broadcast, you likely would have seen the same cut video on every station in the state of Florida because we were the only ones allowed inside to shoot that practice. And it was kind of funny. You would have to appreciate that being in the TV business as I was back in the 90s. But that Florida team in 94 was just one that they just grabbed your heart because they were the first team to go to the Final Four in Florida basketball history. And Lon Kruger was then, at that point, accepted, I think, more so as the Gator basketball head coach than he may have been when he was hired because he had come from Kansas State and nobody cared. And I think that's really that was the beginning of Florida basketball in terms of, wow, we're going up to something that's as big as a football bowl game or a tailgate, and the Gator fans were all over Charlotte, and it was fun. It was a great experience, and they should have beat Duke. Damn, Grant Hill doesn't just shoot it from everywhere, and if the officials didn't give them some breaks in the Charlotte Coliseum, the Gators would have played the Arkansas Razorbacks in the final.
We got a phone call here on the Titan MRI phone line. Who we got? Welcome to the program. Who is this?
Hey, this is Chris. How are you doing?
Hey, Chris. Welcome to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
Hey, buddy. I just wanted to tell you, man, I appreciate everything you've done. When I was a young guy, I wore number 9. Just like you, I got a chance to meet you in Gainesville. And I got the chance, and you always told me it was your number, and I've always wore it through high school playing quarterback. And now my second generation, he's actually wearing number 9, too. So I just wanted to tell you you were a big inspirer. You were my role model growing up, and you still are. And I just want to thank you for everything that you've done, and it's just carrying on.
Well, appreciate it. Number 9's a good number there.
Who did you play for, Chris?
I played for Baker County High School.
Oh, you're a Wildcat.
Wow.
Baker County
Wildcat.
Wildcat.
And I'm a middle school coach there, too, now. So
cool.
Just moving up into coaching there. But you got to visit me when my brother had leukemia, and you and Steve and all of them got to come in, and I got the chance to talk to you before y'all played Alabama in the 92 SEC game, and it was just an inspired day for me. And I just, ever since that day, you've always been a role model for me, and I appreciate it.
Well, appreciate the call, Chris. Let us know if we can do anything for you, buddy, there over in Baker County, and good luck to your team and your boy wearing number 9.
I sure appreciate it, man. We're carrying on the legend.
All right. Thanks for the call, Chris. That was Chris on the Titan MRI phone line.
Molding lives there. It's you'd be amazed at how much influence you have there with that number there.
And I just got confirmation that Dan Cross will join the program tomorrow.
That's awesome. I can't wait to talk to him about 94. He won't remember me, but I'll remember him. Maybe he will. The little guy with a mustache with the television camera.
You think he remembers talking to you in 1994?
Well, I remember talking to him.
Yeah, because he's the athlete. Do you think the athlete
I was
remembers
the
who was
only
interviewing
TV
him?
guy in the damn arena from
Well,
Florida.
I'm going to go out on a limb. If you ask him that, you know what he's going to say? Yeah, I remember you. You don't want to hurt your feelings, JC. Hey, that puts a wrap on the show today from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. You've been listening to Matthews
We'll be back tomorrow.
in the morning.